Hey guys, it's me, Noah. I have a problem and I can get into big trouble with it. I need a way to get out of it with zero accountability. Allow me to introduce you to someone that could help. Hey, I'm Nathan, Noah's twin brother. It's nice to meet me.
Hi, my name is Noah, and the thing I feel like talking about today is Daredevil. I've recently completed my 700 plus issue binge of Daredevil, and there's one weird recurring theme I've tended to notice. Whenever Matt's secret identity is kind of threatened in any way, he has this tendency to create this alternate persona to cover it up. And there's other cases that aren't tied to his identity, but are in a way just like him creating new personas, him falling into these alternate identities. It's this really interesting thing that I would love to share with you today. The first instance of this starts all the way back in issue 16, where Matt and Spider-Man fight, which prompts Peter to leave a note at the Nelson and Murdoch offices saying, "Hey, I know you're Daredevil." This is originally addressed to Foggy, because Matt is perceived to be blind. Well, totally blind. And Karen's a girl, so Foggy's really the only option for Daredevil. When Foggy and Karen find this message, originally Foggy tries to take blame, being like, "Yes, I'm Daredevil," so he can win Karen's affection. But eventually the secret's out. Foggy isn't Daredevil, and eventually they know, oh, if it's not me, then it's Matt. So Matt's secret's on the fritz. So what does he do? Does he finally own up to his mistakes and his lies? Admit to the girl he loves and his best friend that he's Daredevil? Oh, no, he does not. He does the sensible thing. He creates a fake twin brother and lies about him existing, and that he's the real Daredevil. So obviously this is a hard sell. A secret twin brother he's never told anybody about. So he had to find a way to prove it. So what Matt does is the next day at the Nelson and Murdoch's office, he comes in dressed like his twin brother. But he can't just be Matt too. He has to be different. So he's wearing like a party hat. He's wearing sunglasses. He's got fancy clothes. He's dressed like he's a partier. The thing about being the man without fear is that fear includes that little voice in your head that tells you when you're doing something stupid. Well, his friends do manage to question Mike. They kind of accept the lie pretty easily, which... Come on, Foggy. You're supposed to be a lawyer. I think that you should be able to see all the holes in Matt's story. Like, imagine how this story sounds to Foggy and Karen. What's that? You want ID? Birth records? Maybe some medical records? Any proof I exist beyond this sick outfit? No, sorry. Lost in the move. So this new Mike Murdoch personality, what's he like? Well, he's fun. He's jovial. Very similar to how Matt already acts as Daredevil. Just a little bit more. The best part is, he's kind of just a jerk to his friends. He makes fun of Foggy. He constantly flirts and harasses Karen. It's great. This is a good choice. This is a good choice Matt made in his life. So, Matt, as Mike, just kind of continues. It's a regular part of the Daredevil series. Mike's just Daredevil. When he's around Foggy and Karen, he kind of adopts a slightly more sillier, fun version of Daredevil. He's already kind of silly and fun as Daredevil during this time, but it's a little bit more. A little bit like he acts like Mike as Daredevil. Fun part is, he eventually gets in a love triangle with himself, and Karen. That's right. Because not only does Karen have her already established love interest with Matt, she falls for old Mike. Because no matter what he's dressed like and how he acts, Matt is still irresistible. So around this point, Matt gets sick of Mike. Which makes sense. He's mooching his own girl. He's annoying. He's probably missing a lot of work, having to dress up like a entirely different person and sit around the office just to sell a lie. It's exhausting. So eventually he wants to get rid of Mike. So how does he do that? Once again, does he come clean? Does he, tell everybody that Mike was a lie and that this is a way to avoid responsibility? No. I don't know why you thought anything different. This is Matt we're talking about. No, he fakes Mike's death. So the interesting thing about this is, not only does Matt decide to kill Mike, he decides to kill off Daredevil. Because to Foggy and Karen, Daredevil and Mike are one and the same. So to fight with the Unholy Three and the Exterminator, Matt sees his chance and uses an explosion to hide his escape while leaving behind a bit of charred suit, which Foggy finds and assumes the worst. Mike and Daredevil are dead. So Matt has his life back, got off scot-free, all is well, right? Nobody got hurt. Except Foggy and Karen, who are mourning a close friend, the public, who's mourning the death of beloved hero Daredevil. But you know what? Matt's got his life back. Hallelujah. So, does Matt stop being Daredevil? Of course not. As any good Daredevil story will tell you, Matt can physically not stop being Daredevil. It is a problem. So, what does he do? Well, he continues to don the red tights, and when anybody asks, hey, didn't you die? He's like, no, I'm not the same guy. The old Daredevil, before he died, trained me to be his replacement. I'm the new Daredevil. It works. So jumping forward a little bit for this next one, we actually do need some context. So, at this point in time, Matt's love life is a little complicated, but come on, that doesn't narrow it down in the slightest. This is when he cheated on Karen with Typhoid Mary. Feels horrible about it, so he self-exiles himself to wander the country as a vagabond. So, Matt has a very wild week as a vagabond. He accidentally ends up in a feud between a protester and in the processed meat industry, kind of a robot bimbo, fights Ultron, meets the Inhumans, literally goes to hell and back. It's a wild week. So, when he returns, his memory is a little weird and foggy. So Matt's memory ends up being a little weird after this trip. He has amnesia. So he goes to work as a blind boxer named Jack Murdock. So the interesting thing is that Matt's father's name is Jack Murdock. So as this blind boxer, he kind of lives this twisted version of his father's death, which is also the Daredevil origin story, where he goes up through the ranks of fighting, he wins fights, gets set up to throw a fight, but refuses, and then this time he actually beats off his assassination attempt. It's a very interesting story, like, that kind of mirrors his origin in a fun way. Funnily enough, this isn't the only time Marvel has done this story before. So back in Daredevil 162, Matt gets exposed to radiation, which gives him amnesia. He becomes a blind boxer named Jack Murdock, gets set to throw a fight, which he refuses, and his trainer takes a bullet, which reminds him how his father died, which logs his memory and allows him to become Daredevil again. It's a very touching story. He gets to kind of live it through his father's life. Very similar to the other one, though, which I think is really funny. The only main difference is, there's the mob boss is a jungle cat, which I think is really fun. It's a fun twist on the origin. It's a shame the Daredevil show didn't do that. So going back to our first Jack Murdock scene, we actually get our next instance of a Daredevil taking on a persona. So a little context. Bullseye, around the same time, has found the Daredevil costume and is trying to ruin his image by committing crimes in his name. So Matt, in a weird haze of, remembrance, does try to go after Bullseye, but he finds Bullseye's costume and puts it on. Matt pretends to be Bullseye. They fight, and it's a weird thing where it's a role reversal, where Daredevil acts like Bullseye, Bullseye acts like Daredevil, and it's very clear that, there's a lot of weird shenanigans going on with, their memories and, who they think they are. Where it kind of the personalities kind of bleed together. It's very interesting, and honestly, while it's not the same thing as the rest of them, I think it's a very interesting thing to talk about. You have Matt talking about Bullseye's, experiences as his own, and then eventually, Matt, as Daredevil, beats Bullseye, Bullseye goes crazy, and Matt takes his life back, remembering who he is. So the final thing I wanted to talk about today, we'll have to jump all the way to 1993 for the Fall from Grace arc. In this arc, we see Matt's secret identity in jeopardy because a tabloid is threatening to print that Matt Murdock is really Daredevil. So once again, Matt's secret identity is in danger. What does he do? Well, he takes a page out of the old Matt Murdock playbook and fakes his and Daredevil's death, because nobody will fall for the twin brother thing twice. So after the death of Daredevil and Matt cuts himself off from his friends and goes by the name Jack Batlin, because Matt is anything but subtle. As for Daredevil, he remains, obviously, but this time with a gruff personality, a mean demeanor, and a new suit of sleek black biometric armor. Eventually, Matt realizes the error of his ways and goes back to normal, living life as the happy-go-lucky and secretly not totally depressed Daredevil. So that's it for the video. That's kind of the last thing I want to talk about. I really hope you enjoyed this. It's a little more bit-focused than my normal content. I'm not trying to make any claims about Daredevil, though I do think it's very interesting how you got Moon Knight got the DID, but I feel like a writer easily could have done the exact same thing to Daredevil. But that's just my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. By the way, there's one last thing. I was Nathan the entire time.